Hi, it's Megan. Last week I went up to San Francisco and spoke to one of the O'Reilly Fluent Conferences, and me being me, I wanted to put the speech up on YouTube. So, why we should be raising disruptive children. I started with, hi, my name is Megan Lisa Jones. I'm a Silicon Valley native, child of immigrants and mom, and I'm here to discuss why we should be raising disruptive children. Disruption is simple in concept but harder in practice. Essentially, it means to throw into confusion or disorder, impede, interrupt, or break. Disruption also carries over into entrepreneurship and innovation, and that one must be willing to rock the status quo and risk something new in order to usher in a better way. Disruptors aren't always obedient, but they do drive growth, create, innovate, and reorder the world. Schools aren't supposed to be disruptive, but that premise is wrong, and schools should be training disruptive children. In Victorian England, children were expected to be seen, not heard. In the United States, Horace Mann modernized the American educational system 100 years ago, introducing universal education based on the Prussian model. Uniform and well-behaved children were the goal. Back when our economy was driven by agricultural and manufacturing workers, sitting kids in straight rows and teaching them memorization and yes-no answers made sense. Indeed, today biology is taught after physics and chemistry. Why? Because 100 years ago, most kids didn't graduate high school, so they didn't finish the science courses, and many became agricultural workers. Thus, biology was more useful. Today, with scientific advances, a good grounding in physics and chemistry actually helps you understand biology. Our schools don't teach a real-world application of knowledge, disruption, or uncertainty. Lost in our uniform search for answers that don't exist, we've forgotten that in life we too often operate with incomplete or changing information, unpredictable people, or constant change. Life is messy, and those who can spot major patterns, trends, and evolutions inside and outside industries can and do change the world. We as a society should be raising disruptive children. Children love to question, create, and goof off, which is otherwise known as playing. All children can tell a good story and write their own songs. Children instinctively grasp ambiguity and are willing to spend countless hours building something new. Moreover, now with social media and the ability to connect, being seen is actually an advantage. The skills that constituted literacy in the past no longer instill a competitive differentiator in our flattened, knowledge-based world. A major problem today is that we can't fully predict the future while the pace of change continues to accelerate. Our kids will need to know not professions, but skills, adaptability, and the ability to keep re-educating. Many of their jobs will be in industries that don't exist while they go through the educational system. And our educational system has lost touch with the changes and evolution inherent in our actual world. It doesn't educate for the future, but rather to address the past. The current focus on testing, right answers, and certain more practical disciplines ignores the interrelationship among disciplines and the sophistication of real-world problems and solutions. Ask any Silicon Valley executive and he'll tell you that computers always remember better than people, but no computer can duplicate the complex thought processes of the human brain. And life isn't linear, nor is the human brain, nor is most online search. So why do we keep emphasizing linear thinking and disciplines, math and science, without their complements, philosophy and music? We need to be teaching disruption and focusing on questions and questioning, not merely answers. If a child grows up unable to figure out the right problems and questions, what value attaches to a remembered answer that can always be found using Google anyway? We also need to be teaching the ability to start, create, adapt, and innovate. Disruption is an active process and can be taught. I recently completed the online beta class for Draper University, Tim Draper's entrepreneurship in San Mateo. Draper University takes older kids, like in their early 20s, who've shown ability and teaches them to embrace disruption and channel it to create something new and improve the world. The same concepts will work for younger children. Our educational system should be replaced with one that addresses learning needs for the modern world. Universal education became a right 100 years ago. The world has changed since then, and a new version of learning should be embraced, if not by schools, then by the parents and students most disadvantaged by our outdated school system. Increasingly, our young people aren't competitive and aren't getting jobs, while disruptors are creating them.